Hey, we're back for the wrap-up with our Bant Company mirror match video. Cardhoarder, and I'm here with Devin. How's it going, Devin?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. Those were some interesting matches. I think that they showed us some pretty important things about the mirror. I'd say the most important thing is you got to hit your land drops. That's such a
for sure.
If you don't get to 6 lands by turn, like at least 7, then you're gonna get punished really hard. Both game ones, I believe, that we played. In the first match, it was me. In the second match, it was you. We just didn't hit our land drops on time. We maybe got stuck on 4 or something, and then the other. Basically, we could only play 1 spell a turn until for the entire game, while the other person got to get to 2 spells a turn once they hit to turn 6. Their Sylvan Advocates got bigger. They were drawing lots more cards with their Tireless Trackers, which allowed them to hit even more land drops so they could start putting 3 cards a turn. Because once you get to 6 lands and you got the tracker going, the Nis is going, all that stuff, you're never going to miss a land drop.
Yeah, the most important things that I found out in the mirror were, like, if you can have a tracker survive or a advocate survive to, like, 6 lands or 7 lands or whatever, and you have like a bunch of clues locked up, and you can like leverage tempo with, like, you have your efficient beater out, and then you can like use your Dromoka's commands and spell quellers effectively to like counter their spells. You're just like, there's just some games with Bant Company where it baffles me how people lose it.
Yep. You get to the point where you've just got an embarrassment of riches, and the game is essentially over.
Right.
The trick is getting to that point. And one of the most important parts of that recipe is getting to 6 lands.
I agree.
So both of those game ones really displayed why that was the case. The second game that we played in the first match, I think that match was basically just decided by my punt. I didn't hit. I had my 5th land in my hand, could have played it before I attacked with that Selfless Spirit. And I didn't. I dropped Avacyn. You dropped your Avacyn. I could have dropped my Avacyn in response to save my Selfless Spirit, and I'd have access to Avacyn Spirit, but I didn't have the Spirit, and you did, and that allowed you to leverage that interaction and get a pretty big value play a couple of turns down the road, and we're able to take the game because of it.
Right.
In the second match, game 2 and 3, they were interesting games. Tamio really showcased her power in the mirror match in those games. One of the most interesting things I think it did that it kind of surprised me, actually, was that it allowed us to not be forced to load the board with stuff in order to maintain an advantage, to pressure the other person. So you were able to, in game 2 of our second match, you had a tracker and a Tamio, and you didn't have to put any other creatures into play. And my Tragic Arrogances were sitting in my hand rotting. They were horrible because they didn't do anything. You only had 1 Planeswalker, 1 creature, both very powerful and dominating the board, but I couldn't do anything about them, and Tamio was able to really run away with the game as far as card advantage is concerned.
Right.
It's possible that because I had access to 3 Tragic Arrogances, I didn't really have many other lines of play that game. I was basically forced to rely on the Tragics, and since you didn't have that line, your game plan matched up very well against my game plan. I just didn't have anything I could do. But since I did have all 3, I had a very inflexible game plan. In game 3, I think the same situation was set up, except I was the one with the Tamio instead of you.
Right. And I was like choked on lands for a little bit. I think I mulliganed every game in that match. And like, I think that's just because 25 lands just isn't enough, I want to get to 7 and 8 mana to hold up multiple tricks. Like you're a flash deck essentially with creatures as your win conditions or whatever. And you want to get that. And I think 20 lands or 26 lands is like has to be just pretty pivotal to everything.
Yeah, in that in the third game, I was stuck on 5 lands also. And I did have the Tamio, so I was able to still leverage advantages, but I just never hit that 6th land. And I had to discard 3 or 4 times over the course of those turns. And the game would have just been an absolute slaughter if I were to have just gotten 1 more land.
Right.
Especially a white source. And that was another mistake that I made. I didn't crack my Evolving Wilds to get white. Instead, I cracked it with green, and I had plenty of green and only 1 white. It made it so that I couldn't cast my Tragic Arrogance. It also made it so that I couldn't 2-spell 2 white cards, which my hand was full of by that time. So getting I agree, 26 lands is a huge deal. 2 Nissas at least in the 75, huge deal. And the next thing that I want to work with is possibly trying 27 lands. I want to see how far we push it till it gets to the fact where, okay, we've got too many lands in the deck now.
Right.
Tracker makes it so that they're getting flooded isn't really a realistic reality, you know? It's just every single land that you hit will replace itself, so it doesn't matter if you flood out. It means you just get to start playing more things. And you have access to Duskwatch Recruiter, which means you've got a great mana sink that'll allow you to always be able to use that mana that you keep drawing. So maybe 27 lands is correct in this deck. Who knows? I think that's the next thing that I want to find out. I will say, though, that I was really impressed with Tamiyo, and I can definitely see playing it in the main deck where maybe more copies than the one that I had in my Baltimore list.
Right.
But yeah, I think there's still a lot of room for this deck for innovation. It's really great, and the mirror's really great. And I'm looking forward to playing it this weekend in the regionals and battling in the Moto leagues and PTQs. So, all right. Until next time, it's Chris Andersen and Devin Captain for Cardhoarder, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.